So now I'm going to explain the bottom half of the SYL FAQA OAP graphic, and for a lot of you guys out there who've been asking in other videos, how do I improve this or that in my sprinting? You're going to be happy. Preach! Testify! So once you've got the fundamentals in place, actually, let me just stop there for a second. I don't know how to make this any plainer. Look, there's precious little point in trying to pimp your penthouse if your garage is 2 foot underwater, you got termites on the first floor, and the third floor's central heating's on the blink. You have to get the fundamentals correct before anything else. And to get them correct, you got to know about them. And to know about them, you got to watch the HIP series. Admittedly, it's not finished, but it will be soon. So once you understand the incredibly important fundamentals and you're practicing them often, then it just comes down to sprinting. And now, it suddenly gets a lot simpler. Sprinting's basically, like I said before, stride length times stride frequency. Sprinkle in a little reaction time to the gun and there's no more to it. Everything is focused on improving one, both, or all 3 of these components. How do you do that? Again, it's the use of the 4 toolboxes: weights, plyo, circuits, and drills. I told you, I ain't got no secret NSA covert methods here. You just got to go to the right toolbox and pick the right tool at the right time for the individual. But let me give you some thoughts. Weights is very good at correcting and reinforcing dysfunctional fundamental movements and rebalancing the body. When you rebalance the hips, you ensure that the angle of force applied in stride length is correct. Particular plyo exercises are sweet for improving functional stride length because stride length is force off the floor cross-referenced with angle of force. Mostly the 1 foot reactive plyometrics group. Drills are everything from the completely disassembled gait cycle all the way back up again to the full sprint pattern. So when the boys are doing 5-200s and they're thinking about the metabolic processes of fitness and lactate, what essentially they're doing is 5-200 running drills. And focusing on that is a lot less stressful than dreading the pain. So what's the point of running 0.2 faster if you're going to let your hips collapse? Where's the benefit in practicing poor form just to get ahead of a training partner? Is there some kind of athletics fairy that I don't know about transforming bad form into good form at track meets? And if the drill is resisted, it's going to help with stride length. If the drill is assisted, it's going to help with stride frequency. And that's why most people think that weights increases stride length, because weights is a resistance. And it does. Kind of. Now, I've got no facts for this, but I think that the increase in performance from weights, if there is one, is because the core becomes more rigid. You transform from a tennis ball when you bounce it to like a golf ball when it hits concrete. But once you've got the core improvements, the velocity of the limbs is just too high in sprinting to be helped by some slow, heavy-ass weights. Finally, circuits. A circuit is very important because you can take a limiting factor and you can hit it from a bunch of different angles. You get volume and practice while mixing in other exercises that help you clear the nervous system, which prepare you to do learning again. It's basically accelerated learning. In 30 minutes, you can smash out the reps to improve a very specific problem while getting positive endorphins doing other exercises that you are good at, which make you feel good, which helps the learning process. And circuits also provide the best alternative to training outdoors when conditions and circumstances don't permit. Now, assisted exercises are there to increase stride frequency. Studies done say that you can't really increase stride frequency, but all I can say to that is wrong. But I think there may be a reason why they concluded it. If you test college athletes that aren't engaged in a very heavy weights program, then their neural firing is fine. It can be improved, but not by much. However, when you do a heavy weights program, it slows down the neural firing. So lots of top athletes who are doing heavy weights programs use assisted running, assisted plyo, and assisted circuits to return them to their old neural firing speed. But now they can activate more fibers because of the heavy weights. So if you sink your house payments into the weights room and don't do the assisted work, it's very likely that you'll just get slower. But if you're just dropping the change in your pocket, it's probably not going to make any difference. So easy there. Let me answer your question now. How do I get my steps from 34 over 60 meters to 28? All guys running under 7 seconds are running under 30 steps, but I can't figure out how to do so. At 10 meters, I do 7 steps. I just look at the equation. To reduce the number of steps, you need to increase the stride length. The longer the stride length, the less steps you need to take. So you're looking at the left side of the sprint equation. Now, it goes without saying, fundamentals alert, because that'll decrease your stride length more than anything. But if they're fine, then you need to increase force produced on the floor in the same time. That makes you go further. Or you decrease body weight with the same force. You then decide, do I need more mobility or rigidity? Mobility is hips and shoulders. Rigidity is the core. Now for some of these answers, you're going to have to do tests to find out. You then just choose the exercises from the toolboxes that best suit you personally, time-wise and facilities-wise. No point in saying, I'm going to go get stronger in the weights room if the weights room is 30 miles away and is difficult to get to. Learn how to do body weight calisthenics at home and get your strength up that way. And don't decide that you're all about the sprints and drills if every time you go to train, the track's closed. Stay at home and create a circuit that solves the same problems. So that's it. That's SYL FAQA OAP. No new ingredients, like I said. You're just using the ingredients correctly to get you the result that you want. Now once you've worked out the list of things that you need to improve, you then just need to know how those things will affect each other and the order to tackle them in. Now that requires knowledge and experience, but what am I going to tell you? If knowledge and experience weren't valuable commodities, you could get a 14-stone baby to coach you. And remember, better performance is not the same as hard work. They've got things in common, but they're not the same. Sports people constantly give the "I worked harder" speech, but what they really mean is they performed better. I mean, how could they possibly know whether they outworked somebody else? It's arrogance. But I've been out of track and field for a few years now, so I don't know, maybe everybody has to hand in their training diaries before the race now to get them marked. And just some anecdotal info. The hardest training that I ever did was the training that didn't work. And the easiest training was where I solved my limiting factors quickly and often. The effort that I put in for the one that didn't work was like 1,000,000 times higher, because I thought if I tried harder, that would make it work. It doesn't. You can see I'm still sore about that. I hope this helps. Bust me a thumbs up, because let me tell you something. Bustin' makes me feel good. Chat away in the comments bay, dare to share, and if you like my vibe, then please subscribe. And that's the reason why it's SYL FAQA OAP all the way for me.